Welcome everyone. I'm gonna wait a few more, wait one more minute and then I'm gonna get started. I'm so excited to be here and talk all about hiring strategies, and hopefully you guys have some great takeaways for the end of this year and the new year. I know it's tough right now, and if I can give you one good nugget, then I'll be happy. Hi. All right, so this is being recorded and I have a lot of content to get through. And as if anyone has been to any of my presentations, you know that my PowerPoints have a lot of information on them. And so I have a lot to get through today. So I am going to start my presentation and with a few announcements. And also I'll make this reminder a few times today, but if you would like the slide deck, I'm happy to share. Please reach out to me directly. My email is going to be at the bottom of all of the slides, but my email is mhichens, Hichens @hingebrokers.com. And I'm happy to share all of my slides. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about hiring, because it's definitely our biggest barrier to profit right now. And I've heard from all over the country that that right now what's hindering enrollment is not the demand. Parents are really looking to put their children in a educational environment, especially coming out of COVID. I think parents are really understanding the benefit of preschool and wanting their children to be challenged and in an educational environment. So we're seeing a lot of demand for enrollment, which is great, but a lot of people are having a really tough time keeping staff. So that's hindering their enrollment. So before we get into the content, I'm going to go and just talk about a few housekeeping announcements. The first is that Hinge is launching Framework in January, which is a financial tool to help your school succeed, helps you budget, it'll help you set goals for the future. It's fantastic. So definitely take a look at it. The email's below. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to email me, but it's fantastic and we're really excited for the launch. Also, Marissa joined our Hinge team. She's our newest employee. She's fantastic. She's our executive assistant. Hopefully you all will get to meet her in our future events, but she's phenomenal. So welcome, Marissa. And also, the childcare market is super, super hot right now. So if you're interested in selling your childcare business or real estate, please reach out to me directly and I can help you. I can help you figure out help you with your plans. And also Hinge offers complimentary valuations on your business and real estate with no obligation. So it's fantastic opportunity to see where your business is. And a lot of times people like to get a baseline of where they are so they can set goals for the future. And more often than not right now, people are getting valuations and really liking what they're seeing and considering either growing, but a lot of people are really, really interested in selling right now based on the premiums that are getting paid nationally. If you have made it through COVID, a buyer is interested in you. So please reach out to me directly and I'm happy to give you more information and talk about what's going on in your market. All right, so let's get into the content. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about understanding the landscape of where we are right now, today in December. Now, this content, especially if you're watching this recording later and you want to know the update of your market, say next year in 2022 or 2023, again, feel free to reach out to me. My email is at the bottom of all the slides. I'm always happy to talk shop and talk about what's going on in your market specifically. So we're going to talk about understanding the landscape, shifting from USPs to EVPs, using marketing techniques to attract and hire great candidates, and then lastly, setting a framework for clear expectations. I'm going to give you some awesome visuals and tools to use to promote hiring great teachers in your company. And also, I did want to mention as well that anyone here who participates in the chat box today will be entered into a raffle to win the Beyond Happiness book. We had Jen Lim be our keynote at our Shift conference this year in Orange County. She was fantastic. We have 2 copies to give away. So if you ask a question or just say hi in the chat box, you'll be entered in to win a copy of Beyond Happiness. And this is a fantastic book. And in the recap email that we'll be sending out to everyone who participated, that's where we will be announcing the winners. So 2 people will be getting this awesome book, and I'll be sending it to you. All right. Hi, everyone. All right. So let's talk about where we are. So right now we are, and I just want to show you a few headlines, and I don't want to talk too much about where we are because we all want to get into the content of where do we do now. But really interesting headlines. Hating work is having a moment. It kind of is. You're seeing that all over, not just in the childcare industry. And so that's really important to understand. Our staffing issue isn't just a childcare specific staffing issue. This is going on throughout all the verticals right now. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, specifically, really interesting, women are really impacted right now from the staffing crisis. So women are more likely to stay home and not go back to work, which makes sense because they traditionally are the ones who might stay home and take care of the kids. So, and also childcare, as we all know, is expensive, and it's probably going to get more expensive because our operating costs are going up with our labor shortage. So, so women are more likely to stay home. So we really need to be marketing to women and creating an environment where they are comfortable and feel valued and are getting the benefits that they think are enough to get back into the work environment and go back to not to remote work. A few others over here. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy everyone's saying hi. Okay, so this is also interesting. Like I said, other markets are really struggling. Travel, even a 911 call center. I know, you know, even, I don't know if you guys have heard about the nursing shortage. It's national, but especially in California, we're really struggling with nurses and having enough nurses. And so we are not the only industry. Other industries who, you know, traditionally provided really great benefits are also really struggling. So everyone's having to reassess their strategy and reassess how they attract staff. So this is a really great time to take a deep dive into what you offer and how you market it. Lastly, I just want to show on this slide, it just seemed like in August and September, it's just really interesting. Record breaking, 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in August. And then the next headline, another record, 4.4 million Americans quit their jobs. So, you know, we're definitely evening out, and it's not getting worse as of November, which is really good news. It's not, those numbers aren't going up. But let's talk about where all the candidates are. So right now, people are making totally different decisions than they ever have based on the pandemic. And whether we like it or not, it really changed how people saw their life, saw where they wanted to spend their time. People had a pause and they got to spend more time with their kids and their family. And maybe someone who went into an office really liked working from home or having that pause. And so it really just gave everyone a pause. And, you know, as we all know, if you're in a habit of going to work or habit of working out, you know, whenever you stop that habit, it reassesses. It gives you a new baseline. So right now, everyone's reassessing what they want in life and what their goals are as a family. And maybe it's more important for them to have time at home with their kids than it is to go back to work. And they're going to make adjustments accordingly. So really different landscape now is my point here. And again, feel free to ask questions. I know I've had at least 10 or 15 more people hop on in the last few minutes. So please ask questions, say hello. I know I can't see everyone on video, so it is nice to see that everyone is here and awake and saying hi. So where are all the candidates? Resignations are the highest on record. So up 13% over pre-pandemic levels, which is pretty incredible. So it's actually called something. It's called the Great Resignation. And people are resigning in droves. And that's really important to know. And also, there are 4.9 million more people who aren't working or looking for work than there were before the pandemic. So everyone's reassessing where they are and what they want. And, again, I'll show you who we're competing against and then how we can make ourselves a little bit different and market for different criteria. A really interesting too, surge in retirements with 3.6 million people retiring during the pandemic, which is more than 2 million more than expected. So all the baby boomers who were, the backbone of your school or schools, who were dependable, came to work every day, never caused any trouble, the ones that are super independent and just really love coming to work and they're really easy to work with, a lot of them are ending up not wanting to come back into work. Why? Especially in schools. Why? Because of COVID and because they're a little bit more scared, right? That makes sense. So that's really interesting to see where we are. We have to understand the landscape and the data before we come up with a strategy. And then also boosts in entrepreneurship. This is really, really interesting. So people who have traditionally had a 9-to-5 job, a corporate job, maybe a preschool teacher, they're like, hey, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make my own schedule. I want flexibility. I don't want a boss. And so there has been a massive jump in new business applications, which is really interesting. So the big joke there is anyone who, I know we have a lot of owners on this webinar, but, the big joke is that, of course, if you own your own business, you really actually have the least amount of flexibility of anyone. It's really hard to get away and go on vacation, and it's the hardest thing to do. But, people are interested in being their own boss and making their own calls on everything. So really interesting. Ladder of success. And I know a few of you have actually went to Shift, and I saw you all in Orange County. So it's so fun to see you. But I have this actually isn't my full presentation because I don't have enough time to do it. And yeah, someone said being your own boss means you get to pick which 16 hours a day you want to work. That's hilarious. That's so true too. And weekends. But what's really interesting, so I was going to tell you all my entire slide deck. If you would like to see my whole slide deck from Shift, I'm happy to send that to you. I had to take some things out just for the sake of time. But again, happy to share my slide decks with anyone who emails me directly. My email is on the bottom of all the slides. And again, this goes for next year if you're watching this, or 2023. I'm always happy to share my slides and give you current information. So the ladder of success. I love to talk about languaging in the workplace. I think it shows a lot about culture and how an employee feels, about how they feel about their job and their life. So ladder of success. Before COVID or during COVID, we were at the, I won't, I can't, I don't know how. I won't come to work. I can't. I really don't know how I'm going to do that. I have a family member who, is compromised and I feel really uncomfortable. And then we went to as the vaccinations rolled out, we went to I wish I could. What is it? Oh, maybe I can. So as vaccinations rolled out, we saw a little bit of a shift, but we didn't see hey, I'm ready to get back to work. And I'm sure we can all attest to that. And now I feel like we are definitely at I might, I think I can, I can, which is really good and optimistic. We're doing much better than we were a year and a half ago. So I want to get us to the place of I will, I did, I can. I want us to be in that kind of mindset. Now, who are we competing with? So what's really interesting is we're competing with so many other verticals. So we're competing with fast food. We're competing with retail. We're competing with delivery. And what's really interesting here is that a Target, a McDonald's, a Starbucks, they have had the opportunity to establish brand recognition and market to everyone in America for a very long time, much longer than us. And they have those resources to get on TV, to get on the radio, to have those massive signage on, massive interstates. So it's really interesting, and just know that they have an advantage ahead of they're ahead of us with their marketing. It's impossible to compete in some ways with the how much leverage and the budgets that they have. But so they already have the trust and the loyalty and the benefits. So we have to know where we are right now, right? So that's who we're competing with, which we've never competed with those kind of industries before. We've usually competed with, your competitors down the street, the chains, the KinderCares, the Cadence, the other local preschools. Also interesting, what people are doing just to get people in for an interview. And what's really funny is this is actually the Whole Foods on the right, now hiring on the white piece paper below. It's all the positions they needed to fill. There must be 15 or 20 positions they needed to fill. And, $50 for an interview from McDonald's, and, get a free iPhone, $1,500 sign-on bonus. Everyone's pulling out all the stops. And I've never seen something like this before, especially for, say, a McDonald's or Starbucks. So everyone's in the same boat, but we need to get really competitive at what we're offering and how we're marketing. Now, how can we compete with these industry giants? So we're offering something beyond a paycheck. So we have growth in our field, and we have really wholesome and meaningful work. I always like to talk about, and I'm going to get into the specifics later, but if someone is used to going into, to a corporate office job, and then we can offer an environment where we celebrate birthdays, we get to celebrate Spirit Weeks, Crazy Hair Day, all the fun themes that we get to celebrate as a school. That's so much better and way more fun than sitting in an office and on a computer all day long. And as a lot of you all know, my family owns 3 preschools in Charlottesville, Virginia, Bright Beginnings preschools. And I grew up in that environment. It is so fun. It really is. You do potlucks, you do staff appreciation. So that's something that is very different that we can offer. Also, free childcare, free or discounted childcare. Most places can't offer. Starbucks can't offer that. Target can't offer that. So that really, really makes us special, and definitely shouldn't be forgotten when we're looking at our strategies. So what do employees value most in 2021? Flexibility. People are used to that COVID, the pause, remember? So now that people have paused, they might not want to go back to their traditional hours that they were used to and that you needed. Better pay. I'm sure, I've talked to, my part of my job at Hinge is really fun because I get to talk to people nationally all day, every day. And so it's really fun. And what I'm hearing is that everyone's having to bring their base pay up just to get people in the door. So we're seeing that, and I'm not seeing that go away anytime soon. So what's going to start happening is I really hope that everyone is raising their tuition rates. Can I get a pulse from the chat box if anyone has raised their tuition since COVID, or are you planning on it? Yes. Shannon Hill said yes. Gina, yes. Okay, I really like to see that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So everyone is either planning on raising their tuition or has done that already. So fantastic. And someone said just a little, not enough yet. Great, good. Plan on doing another one. Great. Okay. And so I'm seeing everyone saying yes for new families and current families in May. I agree, not enough. Yes. So amazing. So to be financially successful right now, we've got to continue to raise our rates. And it's because our operating costs are very different now with where we are. So definitely plan on raising your rates. Unfortunately, the cost is going to come down to the parents. And, and someone said, yes, biggest one ever in August, another soft increase coming in January. And the thing is, these parents, they're going to have to pay for it, but it's how we're going to have to survive. And we made it through COVID, but we need to make it past COVID and beyond. And so if you're here, that's amazing. You've done an amazing job. So let's look at the future and how you're really going to optimize your business. So what do employees value most? Growth opportunities, health and safety, benefits, culture and inclusion is really, really big. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then empathy. If someone really needs to be home to pick up their kid off the bus every day at 3 o'clock, then you might have to agree to that schedule. Whereas before we would say, oh, no, you need to see the parents at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. Now we really have to be flexible to our employees and be really empathetic about what their values are and what their situation is, right? Gone are the days where we had to be really structured. Oh, you have to work 8 to 5, or you have to work 7 to 6 with a 2-hour break. We can't afford to do that. So it's a lot more piecemealing now. And I'm not saying you have to do that with everybody, but every situation is different, and we have to be more open to that. All right. So let's talk about employee value proposition. So, and you know what? Let's see. Okay. So employee value proposition is an EVP. And so an EVP is different than a USP. So traditionally, and a lot of you all, I talk about unique selling points. I actually do a lot of coaching on marketing and getting your schools filled. So I talk about unique selling points. What makes you different from your competition, and narrowing them down to 3 to 5 elements and marketing those. And I'm happy to talk to anyone who needs help with that or wants a brain to pick on that. But what the big shift right now is marketing for employees. So a USP, a EVP is a employee value proposition. So that's what a USP is for, our incoming families. So employee value proposition, you want to make sure that you go over, oh, here we go. Hold on a second. You want to go over benefits. What do you offer? So benefits, career, these are just topics. Culture, work environment, maybe you have a higher base pay, and incentives. Now, these are ones that I've come up with. You can do this as an exercise as a school, but you can add 100 of these. And actually my full presentation has way more ideas, and again, you can email me for that full presentation directly. But benefits, you want to be making sure these are all things you're going to market on your website in various methods. So paid time off, for your discounted childcare, your values, predictability. People want to know their schedule. So that's really important. Also, ample teaching materials. I talk about this a lot, but I had the privilege of presenting at the World Forum of Education in Macau a few years ago, and I had the opportunity to visit an amazing set of just stunning preschools, and they were massive and beautiful, and I wish I could have a whole webinar just on that. Just incredible. And they had a teacher supply room, I kid you not, the size of probably 3 regular traditional preschool classrooms in America, 3 of those combined. And it was just, I can send you pictures of it. It was incredible. All the art materials. These teachers really felt like they could really get into their lesson plans. But you want to make sure you're maximizing and get your messaging correct right here. So you want to pick a few, and then you're going to market them. So these are just some ideas. Again, I have the full list. You can email me for them. I'll send you the whole slide deck, but this is a great start. Also, someone said they would love to see the pictures. If you want to see the pictures, email me and I am happy to send them. I have them on my phone. I have probably 1,000 from that one trip of the schools, but it was really cool. So just email me and ask, and I will send them to you. So also incentives. So if you haven't considered bonusing or you aren't currently doing it, please consider it. I always say bonus on your weakest area. So I love, if you're having trouble getting people to stay, or, you hired them, but they don't show up, or, they don't attend work after you've hired them. A sign-on bonus is great. I'm going to show you some specific examples. Attendance bonus has been really helpful for schools recently. And then full room bonuses. And then also, if you cameras, you can also observe on quality. So if you're having a really big issue at a school, get on your cameras and bonus on just randomly checking in and some quality matrices. If you want more ideas on bonuses, email me. I'm happy to talk about them. But I know that bonusing has been not as widespread in our industry traditionally, but now's the time to start implementing and being consistent on bonusing. The thing about our industry is we get really excited about an idea, And then oftentimes I see that we don't follow through and are consistent. So make sure you try, if you try bonusing, do it for 6 months and see, and then reassess. All right. So building a strong and relevant EVP. So EVPs, they assess what your business offers, make a list of qualities your ideal employees have. They're dependable, are they motivated, are they trainable and manageable? And then really, really important, I know we do this a lot with our current families, but make sure we do surveys with our current employees to see what do you like most about working here, because that's what you should definitely market, but also which opportunities do you wish we provided? If everyone says the same thing, then you should maybe reassess and say, hey, let's offer that. Let's try it. Let's try it for 6 months. Let's see. And then stay interviews. We talk a lot about exit interviews. Why did someone leave? Let's talk to people who are staying and coming to work every day. Are they happy? Can you continue to make them happy? Because the last thing we need is to lose our current staff. We can't afford to lose anyone in our buildings right now. And so, and I will say, of course, if someone's toxic or not a great teacher, of course we know to let them go. We all know that. But we can't afford to have a great teacher who comes to work every day, who everyone likes, leave to go to like and I always, I'm not even going to mention the names of all the corporate places, but all these corporate preschools. We can't afford it. And honestly, I think we have so much to bring as privately run preschools, and most of the time family run preschools. There's no reason why we should be losing anyone to a corporate preschool. I mean, I just don't think there's one reason. So, and also communicating your EVPs. So make sure that once you have your EVPs and you decide on them as a team, pick, 5 of them, and then make sure they're on your website, Indeed, all your platforms. Make sure they're really consistent on your job descriptions, and then make sure you're reiterating everything you've marketed during your interview process. So I want people, that message to be really consistent. And when they leave your school after the interview, they understand those 3 to 5 things that you offered. Even if they don't take a job with you, they're going to remember them and they're going to talk about them in the community. So that means you did your job really well. And then understanding the benefits versus incentives. So telling someone what the difference is. I think a lot of people need to have that explained to them. Oh, Heather Mayo. Hi, Heather. I've implemented the attendance bonus since the SHIP conference, and my staff are so appreciative. Thank you. That's awesome. And that shows, I know, Heather, you have an amazing program. So I just love that you implemented something and you're already so strong. So that's awesome. Great job. Okay, so EVPs help candidates answer the following questions. What differentiates your company from the competition? What makes your company a great place to work? What can you offer me that other companies won't? Can you customize it for me? The answer is yes, you definitely can. And why should I commit to this job right now? And I'm going to show you some examples that we can learn from larger schools. And we really need to get better about our urgency. Why should you commit now? Well, there's a sign-on bonus. You'll get $500 if you stay 60 days and another $650 if you stay till March. That's a great reason to start right now, but you have to start by next week. Of course, we have to have the paperwork and everything, sorted. All right, so what generates each generation? This is really interesting. So I really want to highlight the things that are similar to all the generations, but really interesting. Generation Z, born between 1996 and 2015. So they really appreciate advancement. They want to visually see where they're going to go and that they can attain it. Of course, they love Apple Music, which is hilarious because I'm still on Spotify, and I have a little cousin who just looks at me like I am a little old that I have Spotify. So they love Apple Music. They love flexibility, diversity, rewards programs. So they're tech generation. And so yeah, that's Generation Z. And I'm going to answer the question from Lisa Forrester in a minute. Millennials, largest workforce, work-life balance, experiences, recognition, personalization, salary, path forward. But remember, see these two, they have these two, flexibility, path forward, really important. Generation X, they are the most independent. They don't need their hands held. They are happy to be alone. They can handle it. Leave me alone. I'm confident. They have great family values, but also very great social values as well. And they really like flexibility as well. And then boomers, traditionally like healthcare, tax benefits, stability, like recognition of loyalty, which is really, really interesting. And then flexibility for family and professional development. Okay, so I want to answer this question from Lisa Forrester. How do you keep current staff from having hard feelings when you offer sign-on bonuses? Maybe they didn't get one when they got started. That's an awesome question. So in that case, Lisa, I would say try to implement bonuses for your current staff as well. So that's where you would implement a full room bonus. That way, if the teacher has a full room, then they get a monthly amount. And also you can do on the spot bonuses. If someone tours and they enroll on the spot and that child's might be in that room, that teacher and that TA also get a bonus. So there are definitely different ways to bonus where current employees will be happy. And Lisa, I'm happy to talk to you as well offline about that. And but I would definitely try to do it with your current staff as well. Also, more often than not, these teachers are really wanting the help. So definitely, usually a teacher will be like, oh my God, thank goodness we got some help. I have some support. I don't care how you got them in or how much you paid them, as long as they show up tomorrow to help me with, little Henry or a little Joseph or little Sally. So that I think that'll be really, it really does help culture when they get that support. But also I love the idea of giving more opportunities for them to reach their goals, and also make sure you're very consistent with your career ladders and their career development of where they're going. But that's a really great question. And use marketing tools to consistently push your message. So once you have your EVPs, then make sure you're cascading and pushing your message. Pick that 3 to 5 and just stick to those and market it. So website, we're going to give you some specific take-home ideas of changes you might be interested in making on your website. Hiring platforms, social media, your job fairs. Right now, we have a whole 2 years of kids who were not able to get a part-time job after school. They had to be home with their parents during COVID, and they were 16 or 15. And now they're seniors in high school, and they're really wanting to get out and get some experience away from their house. I don't blame them. So definitely try to market to those high schools, because also those kids are going to be less fearful of being in an environment with a lot of kids. So, and then also personal referrals, have flyers available, signage, just reiterate your message for hiring. So basically I'm flipping a lot of things I normally coach on for marketing for enrollment, and just flip it for staffing. And your yard signs, I do want to say something really quickly about your yard signs. We, at our schools, we don't mean to be obnoxious, but sometimes we are, by putting signage out in areas, around town. And our teachers will go out and just put signs places, and, just put them out. And, if someone takes them down, they take them down, but at least maybe like 10 or 15 cars have passed and seen your sign. And guess what? That's worth the $2 sign or $5 sign. So I ordered a while ago, I ordered signs from, I believe it's something like Signs on the Cheap. I can also give the name to Meredith when she sends the e-blast out, or email me and I can send it to you. But they were really cheap signs. They were good for the purpose of just putting them around town. And so I would recommend that. Also, I don't know if anyone, Gina said, we strategically place yard signs at intersections near all our competitors. That is so awesome. That is fantastic. I love that you're thinking forward like that. And I mean, I would recommend that. Why not? I mean, people should know that you're looking to hire great staff. And guess what? If you're offering really great incentives and benefits, people should know that they have choices. They have choices right now, whether we like it or not. People have choices. So you want to make sure that your current staff are taken care of, and that you're marketing these incentives to prospective staff. Now, Oh yes, thank you, Kathy Petchel. Yes, that's the company right here is signsonthecheap.com. Thank you for sharing that. That's the company we used. So pro tip, full-time hiring call center person, or get someone to make calls 2 to 3 hours a day. So be really consistent. I think the big gap is when you think you're fully hired and someone actually quits and you don't have someone lined up to take their spot. So make sure that if you're consistently on Indeed and calling people back every single day, then that is going to make a big difference. Don't wait till someone leaves. Then you're a day late and a dollar short. So make sure you're always ahead of the ball. And that's if there's anything I would invest in, that's made a big impact actually on our schools, but also other schools across the country. And this is really fun. So typically, I actually used to have some specific examples, but it was a lot of content on one slide. But the websites or the companies that I really like to look at who do a great job with marketing are Children of Tomorrow in Minnesota, the Nest Schools, phenomenal. And this is really interesting because this tagline, I thought this was, if you were to guess, can anyone guess where? I mean, I'm sure actually a few people came to shift on this webinar, but can anyone guess whose marketing slogan this is? It's an American company. Can anyone guess on chat? Come build the future with us. It's interesting because Lowe's. Someone said Lowe's. That's a good guess. And any other guesses? I really thought this was a bigger Bright Horizons. Good guess, Heather Mayo. I really thought that this was a larger company, and it's actually Amazon. So of course, Amazon, came up with this, but we should have come up with this. This is so good. So come build the future with us. So really take a look at how you're marketing. It's so simple, but come up with a fun tagline and market it. I wouldn't use this one though, because I'm sure you can get in a lot of trouble taking Amazon's taglines. All right. So, and thank you so much for the participation, everyone. It makes it so much more interactive and enjoyable to get some interaction like this. Okay, so let's talk about your careers page. Here are the things that I recommend, and I do these talks and I create this content, and what's really fun is I create this content, and then my family's business, Bright Beginnings in Charlottesville, they'll take this content and they're like, oh gosh, now we have to execute this. Why do you have to come up with more content? And I'm like, I can't help it. This is what will improve everyone's businesses. So we actually just did a revamp of our careers page on our website. And Kathy Petchel, if you want to share it in our website in the chat box. But it's just a minor revamp with some of these things included. So make sure that you have a call to action. Make sure that someone can apply really easily on your website. You don't want to have them have to click through 5 or 6 different times to get to your application. That's not great. So make sure it's a simple user experience. And then promotions, use urgency. Start by January 3rd and be eligible to receive the sign-on bonus after you work 30 days. I wouldn't give someone a sign-on bonus right when they sign on. Make sure they come to work 30, 60, 90 days, then they get that bonus. We need people to be showing up on time every day. If they don't show up on time every day or they call out, then they're not eligible to get that bonus. I mean, that's not how this works. So be very clear about that though in your interview process. And then engaging photos and copy. I really am big on using internal pictures and not stock pictures, although there's some really great stock pictures these days. So that's another one. And then day in the life, make sure you have videos or testimonials throughout your careers page. Pay range is big. And this is actually really big on Indeed as well. Make sure you put a pay range. People are more likely to apply. So put something on there. And you can also say something like up to X, up to $16 an hour. And if they get to get the 16, they get, maybe they have to have a bachelor's degree, whatever criteria it is. And if your current employees come to you and say, oh, wait, why don't I get the $20 an hour, 16, you can ask them, oh, well, do you meet this criteria? Because that's what we're telling people. If you meet X, Y, and Z, then you can get this rate. Or while they're there, hey, how can we get you to where you want to be? We can't lose anyone right now. And thank you, Kathy Petchel. She's always happy to help with ideas. Also, they added a ton of testimonials. So also feel free to reach out to Kathy Petchel. She's always happy to talk. Kathy, do you want to put your email in this chat box just in case someone wants to reach out? And someone said we only have one page on our church's larger website. Would you recommend creating our own website? Asking for a second page for staff. Yes, I would have your own website, honestly, longer term. If you're not planning on going anywhere, I would have your own website. Absolutely. I think it's less confusing, and then make sure you have a careers page on one of the headers. But I mean, I would shift over. That's what I would do. Although I bet you get a lot of traffic from your church's website, so there are definitely pros and cons to that. And so, I mean, I'm also happy to talk about that with you offline. It's kind of a strategic move. And I don't know if you rent space from them. It kind of depends on a few criteria. So definitely reach out to me if you want any ideas on that. Okay, and then make sure that you don't require a cover letter. I mean, I feel like cover letters, they're great. Do we like to see them? Yes, they're beautiful. We're impressed. But will we not hire someone because they didn't put one on or didn't submit one? No, we need people to be hired basically yesterday. So make it easy. Get their name, get their phone number, and call them. Like, we don't need, I mean, even resume. I mean, a resume is great, but ask them, oh, can we call 2 or 3 references? Can you give us the last 2 places you worked? I mean, I don't want someone to have to fill out 5 or 6 things or upload something. I don't want someone to be deterred from applying to your school. So keep it simple, keep it easy, and you can figure the rest out later. Ask who you can call for them after you talk to them on the phone to check references. And let's see. Okay, so trending verbiage, and I'm going to have to whiz through the next few slides, but trending verbiage, really, really great content here. The Nest Schools has a great job with their marketing, and I love this slogan or this tagline. Do you feel like you could do more? Have you ever wanted to be more? Wouldn't it be great to get more? How awesome is that? I mean, fantastic. Kudos to their marketing gal. So I think that's fantastic, but I also love up to $19 an hour and then a $2,000 signing bonus. They are being competitive. They're competing directly with the big corporates, because at the very bottom, these last 2, those are big corporates. I'm not going to tell you their name, but those are bigger corporate companies, and we need to learn how to model after them so we can compete. We have to stay in the ring. Oh yes, hi Beth. Yes, their marketing team is fantastic. And substitute teacher openings. This is something we did at our schools. This August was nationally the hardest for staffing that we have seen in years. I mean, we've always had a hard time with staffing nationally as an industry, but now it is unprecedented. So make sure, try this. Try doing a position on Indeed or whatever you use, whatever platform you use, for 18 to 20 an hour just for substitutes, a temporary work, and see what you get. Because in August, when everyone was struggling, we did this, and we got about, I think, 100 and maybe 15 applicants within 24 hours. And about a third of them ended up staying full-time, which is fantastic. So I mean, that was worth every penny. Now, I get the question a lot, were people upset that people were coming in as substitutes for 18 to 20 an hour? That's really high. Well, the thing is, they're substitutes. They're not guaranteed hours. They're not full. They're not even part-time a lot of the time. So no, they weren't upset because, these people weren't making full-time. They weren't able to work full-time for us. So, but a lot of them wanted to. We got to entice them with our culture, being with our awesome kids, our great company and culture. So that's a great strategy. And then the last 2 were really interesting. Last 3, this one's a corporate school, smoke-free environment, direct deposit, on-duty meals. This is so interesting. And I was like, what? So why would they put smoke-free environment? Obviously, we're not going to be smoking around kids. But I think they're being really strategic. I think they're really trying to get people who work in restaurants and bars. They're trying to poach from other industries. So I thought that was really smart, actually. Like we offer a wholesome, daytime environment. And then I just got a question. Do you change their pay? Oh, yes, great question. Did you change their pay when you changed them to full time and had that work? Yes, they get paid, they get bumped to whatever they would come in as a normal interview then. So if they're applying, then if they have experience and they're applying for a lead teacher position, then we give them whatever that would be and they qualify for. So they are very well aware that they go back, they don't stay at 18 to 20 an hour at all. But they get the hours. So they're happy with that. And they also get the opportunities for the bonuses. And so we're trying to get people to come on full time. That's a great question. And Shannon, if you want to email me directly, my email's on the bottom of all the slides, I will send you the entire slide deck. Absolutely. Anyone here who wants the slides, please feel free to email me. I will send you the whole deck. And if you're watching this later, it's being recorded, please just email me. I'm always happy to send content. And I'm also always happy to answer questions about your specific school and your specific market. And then I just want to lastly just point out here, this is a bigger corporate preschool. Start by X date, stay through, whatever date, February 1st, and receive $750. Stay through June and get another $750. So people are really pushing that, and they're really strategic in how they're segmenting it out like that. And then Rhonda here, a lot of you all know Rhonda from Heartfelt Impressions in Michigan. She did a great personal post on her personal Facebook, marketing for a high school student in the afternoon. So again, these high school students want to work, and what better place than a wholesome preschool? Woohoo, Rhonda. Heartfelt is who I'm representing today and every day. Yes, Heartfelt is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about passive versus active, because this makes a big difference in your success rate with interviewing people and getting more people in the door, because it really is a numbers game. We got to get people applying and phone interviews and getting people in your pipeline. It's a numbers game. So urgency, shorten your hiring process. So make sure that you are calling people back who apply on whatever platform you use, Indeed, etc., within an hour or two. I mean, don't be waiting a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week. You're gonna lose people, because the Starbucks, the Target, Lowe's, anywhere else, they're grabbing them. So make sure you're really urgent. And make sure, and also phone call first, then an immediate text. Hey, I didn't reach you. When's a great time to talk? And if you're talking on the phone and it's going great, hey, can you do a quick FaceTime? These days people are not as worried about being on camera in their background. Someone might be in a car. It's no big deal. So make sure you offer that and get them signed, sealed, and delivered, and being engaged in your school. So, and also the 6 to 7 p.m. success slot. So calling people between 6 and 7 p.m. is really, really beneficial. More people will answer the phone. And again, text, then call, or call, then text. And that's just try it. Again, if I can give you 1 or 2 ideas and they work, then this was successful for me. And then also full-time call center person, or 2 to 3 hours a day. Be consistent. Have someone consistently reaching out to these people. Oh yes, and Rhonda, and thank you, Kathy, for sharing Rhonda's email. Rhonda is an amazing resource. She's just lovely to talk to, and she's just a great mentor. So if you all have any questions, she actually has great culture, and they did a wonderful, I talked to her actually yesterday, and they did a wonderful staff party recently, and really cool giveaways and engagement. So Rhonda's great, and she's always happy to talk to people. Okay, hiring power words. So flexible schedule, fun themed days. The one I really want to focus on here is bonus opportunities, but work-life balance, but the most important one here is fresh air and sunshine. What kind of job do you get to go play outside with kids 2, 3, 4 times a day? That's pretty cool. Like, you're not sitting in a desk, you're not going up and down the aisles of Target all day, every day in a windowless building. And so that's really big. Again, it's all how you market it. Be really creative, fresh air and sunshine. There's no reason why we shouldn't be marketing that, especially if you have, your outdoor classroom certified. But just take some of these ideas. I have more too. Again, always happy to chat with anyone and just get to know you. Okay, so here we are with organizations. I'm going to try to wrap up relatively soon, but I want to make sure everyone gets the rest of my content. So this slide is really important. So organizations that treat candidates like VIPs have a competitive advantage in recruiting. Word gets out. Even if a person is not selected, they may still refer others to your organization. A positive experience and respectful treatment during the interview process could certainly lead a person to continue to be interested in working for you and apply for future job opportunities. So that's really, really big. Read that, send it to your staff, reread it. Your interviews, everyone that you're interviewing, they are a marketing tool. They are going to talk about their experience. And so any kind of experience that you have where you're having a two-way conversation with someone gives them any kind of, content or, experience to talk about. So make sure your interview process, you're really nice to your, this goes without saying, I hope everyone's really nice to the people they're interviewing, but make sure that we're not dropping the ball. If we interview someone and then we don't follow back up and say, hey, you shouldn't have enough experience, or hey, you're not the right fit for us right now. If you do X, Y, and Z, we'd love to re-interview you. People would rather someone be direct and honest than and transparent. And so just following back up with the people who you don't hire is really important, because they are community members. And, most places, we rely on that community goodwill. And then framework for clear expectations. So what's really cool here is I want to talk to you about a visual for your prospective employees. And I'm gonna try to wrap up very quickly. I have 63 of you guys still on. So I have a few really great slides though. And if I don't happen to finish everything up in time, I'm happy again to send this to anyone who wants it. Please email me, even if you're seeing this as a recording. So framework for clear expectations. All the big corporate companies do this. And I could not, in my research, I could not find one corporate preschool that had this readily available on their website. Now, I've been talking about this since Shift, and so I'm assuming that's going to be happening soon. But in the meantime, let's try to get really innovative on how we're marketing visually. When someone Shannon asked, where can I get this recording? It's going to be sent out in an email with the instructions after this if you've registered. So framework for clear expectations. This is Starbucks on the left and Chipotle on the right. What I love about Chipotle is it says here, at Chipotle, your career doesn't have a finish line, nor does it have one road. I love that marketing. So that's fantastic. And I love how Starbucks just has like a road. I just think those visuals are really inspiring. Now, so I wanted to show you all a few of examples of what I liked people doing. And I'm going to show you what I came up with. I'm going to give you a resource and show you what we did. So Pizza Hut's on the left, the rising up model. I love how they gave the job descriptions here and explained what they would be responsible for. So that gives people an idea of what the next job entails. And then on the right is Chick-fil-A. I love that they give the salary compensation typically, and they break down exactly where that comes from. Now, lastly, I did one for our school's Bright Beginnings. And again, feel free to go to our website and see our new careers page. But this is really easy. We did this in Canva. And if you don't have Canva, look at it. It's the easiest way to make any kind of graphics. We have a monthly membership. I think we pay like $12.99 or something. And but here we have our teacher assistant, lead teacher, assistant director, director, regional director. So we put the pay ranges here. And what's important here is that, someone gets to see where they can go in the company. And wow, like you're a regional director. Wow, I really want to get there. How do I get there? And this gives someone, a way forward and something to talk about during your career path. Hey, you want to get to the regional director? Let me go over what that job responsibility entails. This is how I can train you up for that position. And on our website, we have this, but then we have, like Pizza Hut before, we have an explanation of all of our positions and what they entail below it. Now, if you go to our website, definitely get inspiration from us, but don't take the text and copy and paste it, because it will ding you on Google and you won't show up high in searches at all. You'll be dinged. So definitely get inspiration. I'm happy to help with any ideas, but copying and pasting can actually hurt when people are looking for your business. Now, we're going to wrap up talking about retaining your current employees. So retaining your current employees, nearly 2/3 of employees say their company does not have a strong work culture. Less than half of employees know their organization's mission, vision, and cultural values. And 70% of employees credit their peers for making their job more fun. Of course, I feel like that's so accurate of our industry with our teachers and assistant teachers and staff. And then workplace culture is one of the top correlated factors to employee happiness. So we really need to start working on our culture. And what's really interesting here is if you work in your culture, you're only going to benefit. But what's interesting here is that more often than not, someone down the street does not have great culture. So if they come into your school and they notice it off the bat, it's a big win. You're getting that engagement right away is going to be so much easier. So that is what I'm going to wrap up with. And I wanted to wrap up with, lastly, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, and that's so important in our industry. So I just love that motto. And I really do think that, moving forward, we are going to have a major advantage if we can use some of these broader strategies that bigger companies are using. We can level up. We haven't yet. And I've seen as an industry, I talk to preschools all day long. I do a lot of outreach to preschools who I think that would have a really great, who would be a great time to sell. And, I'm looking at their website. I'm like, come on, you guys, we can really improve on getting our more employees into our pipeline. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. And also wanted to say one more time, someone said Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I want to say one more time that now is a really great time to consider doing evaluation for the real estate or just your business. We're seeing major premium prices being paid from our buyers, and going into next year, we are seeing and hearing that our buyers are going to be incredibly aggressive. Again, if you made it through COVID, then someone's going to want to look at you, because that means that you're operationally sound and you're doing something right. So reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to put you into contact with our financial analyst, Rusty, and get you on his schedule. But definitely reach out, even if you're just considering growth and a baseline. I've had a few people do that, and they just like to have that information so they can make decisions moving forward. So it was so fun to talk to you all. Someone said, one more question. Okay. How much would you offer for attendance bonus? I would offer, so I would do, you can do it based on a few things. You could do, 20 cents more an hour, or 50 cents more an hour, or $1 more per an hour if they show up every day on time for the whole month. So you could do it that way, or you could do it, $100 per a month, or $50 per month extra. I would do, if you're struggling with it, I go bigger, because we need our teachers to show up on time. Now, the trick here is that if they don't show up on time or they call out, they're out. They can't get the bonus. Because we have to be fair to other people. And once you start making one exception, it's really, it just turns into, it's not an easy situation. So you have to kind of be, you have to be, black and white about that. And yeah, but I would do it either per an hour and put it on payroll. Obviously, if you put all of this on your payroll, and or $100 per month if you show up on time every day. And then try it out for 3 to 6 months. I see a lot of companies try these things for 1 month or 2 months, and that's really not giving it a good go. But do it on the things that you're weakest at. Any other questions last minute? Let's see. This information was super helpful. Can't wait to share it with our directors. Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. Brenda, thanks so much. Very helpful information. Can't wait to utilize these. Great. Awesome. I'm so glad. And someone said, I'm going to email you later. Awesome. Yes, feel free to email me. Happy to chat anytime. And that was just so fun. I really hope you all learned something. And again, email me anytime. I'm always happy to chat. My email is on the bottom of all the slides. Thank you all so much. And I look forward to hearing from all of you all and chatting in the new year.